How's it howlin', everyone? My name is Vin Wolf, and today we're talking more Smash. But today, we are going to switch it up a little bit for you. See what I did there? Oh, ja! So, yeah, we're going to switch it up today. How? Because up until now, and I'm still going to be covering more, I've just been covering potential newcomers for the franchise. People in Super Smash Bros. Who would have a totally unique moveset. But today, I'm going to start talking about Echo Fighters. Echo Fighters, for those of you who don't know, are basically the characters that in previous Smash games, everyone would complain about because there was a slot that could have been taken up by another unique fighter. And then Sakurai came in with Smash Ultimate, gave them a rebranding, labeled them Echo Fighters, and bada bing, bada boom, bada ba, everyone is excited and stoked to see them. And I'm going to be covering one of them today. Now, bear in mind, when you were talking Echoes, there's certain criteria that have to be met. And it gets confusing because they have to meet the same criteria for a new fighter as well as criteria for an Echo Fighter. Now, I'm only going to get into the topic of the Echo Fighter criteria today, so let's get into it. Basically, I've narrowed it down into 4 key rules I'm going to be adhering to whenever I'm rating the chance of a new Echo Fighter getting in. First of all, they have to be from the Basis franchise, which seems like a pretty obvious de jour, but I came up with this thought the other day. What if you had Dylan, the armadillo from the Rolling Western games, as an Echo for Sonic the Hedgehog? It seems really dumb until you start to think about it, because everything that Sonic could do, Dylan can also do. Sonic spin dashes. That's how Dylan gets around in his games. Another reason this is important is because that's all we've seen so far. We have seen like Samus and Dark Samus echoing each other from the Metroid series, Simon and Richter Belmont from Castlevania, Marth and Lucina, Pit and Dark Pit, Chrom and whoever he's echoing. Is it Roy? Why we have 4 characters with pretty much the same moveset is beyond me, but hey, roll with it. Second rule is that they have to naturally fill out the moveset of the base fighter. Obviously, minor alterations are acceptable, even encouraged. For example, Chrom has a totally different character's up B. He's an echo of Roy, but he has Ike's up B attack. They also need to have different enough animations to distinguish them from each other. It ain't all about the looks, it's also about how they move. Is it natural and relatable to their original game franchises? For example, imagine the uproar if instead of skating around the stage, Shadow was introduced as an Echo Fighter and he just ran across the stage like Sonic did. Shadow is an Echo Fighter I will be covering, however, he does have other animations that would need to be different in order to distinguish him as his own character. The fourth and final rule, and this may seem a little bit obvious, but it's important for another Echo Fighter I'll get to later, is that they must be able to create 8 unique costumes for the character. And with all that in mind, let's hop into it. Today, for the first Echo Fighter, I, of course, am going to be talking about Isabelle from the Animal Crossing series, echoing the villager. So it's pretty obvious that these guys are from the same franchise, however, there's a little bit more to Isabelle on this note. First of all, Isabelle in the Wii U and 3DS versions of Smash Bros. Was the assist trophy representing the Animal Crossing series. However, we look at Smash Ultimate, and there's a couple things that seem really fishy and out of place here. Isabelle has been replaced as an assist trophy twice over. First of all, in her representation. We have Cap'n now to represent the Animal Crossing series. For those of you who don't know, Cap'n actually runs over characters, locks them in his bus, and then drives off screen. I think it's hysterical. Just look at Mario's face of horror. That's what you get for grinding your brother's shoes in tennis, pal. Then you also have the Chef Kawasaki from the Kirby franchise, who throws food around the stage after scooping up players and cooking them. Because nothing says healing item quite like cannibalism. Isabelle is a lot like Skull Kid in this sense, and that's one of the big reasons I think she's going to get in. There's also her importance. One of the real reasons why it's so weird she's being replaced as an assist trophy is the fact that Isabelle is pretty much the second face of the franchise. The first one, of course, being the villager / mayor from the Animal Crossing. Second rule is, can they naturally fill out the moveset of the base fighter? Absolutely. Everything the villager can do, Isabelle, and if we're being honest, every character from Animal Crossing can do too. You want to dig a hole? Absolutely. You want to chop down a tree? Not a sweat. You want to have Isabelle pull out a Haniwa doll and ride it across the stage? Yeah, absolutely. Why not? In fact, when it comes to Isabelle, you can even take some of her moves a step further. The greatest example I can think of is that when she goes to plant a tree, it's not just a regular tree like the villager. In fact, you can keep the fruit aspect from her assist trophy in her animation by making her trees various fruit trees. One time could be a cherry tree, another can be a peach tree. And of course, these fruit would fall and be able to be healing items. It's a unique twist to the character that would make it a lot more fun to play, especially in team matches. You can make Isabelle different enough with her animation by having her maybe even skip whenever she runs, just sort of in that carefree way that Isabelle seems to have. Basically, she checks off every box required for an Echo Fighter, and that's why I'm giving her a 90% possibility. There's a reason why so many people have her locked in as a definite, and I tend to agree with every point that I've found. Really, when it comes to Isabelle, there's only one thing that's really hurting her chances of getting in, and that is the fact that Isabelle, canonically, is a pacifist. Of course, in the great uncanon world of Smash, this really doesn't amount to a hill of beans. And that's why I'm going to be giving Isabelle a 95% possibility for getting in. At this point, I think it's a shoo-in. There's no reason Nintendo wouldn't put her in, especially with her great importance, and the fact that they took her out of being an assist trophy. So, yeah, Isabelle is an Echo Fighter. I absolutely think it's going to happen, but what do you guys think? Also, while you're letting me know what you think down in the comment, why don't you give me another fighter to look at? I've got my own list, but I definitely would like to add to it and check out other potential newcomers as well and see what they have to offer to Smash Brothers. Anyway, thank you guys so much for tuning in. I hope you appreciated it as much as I enjoyed making it. I look forward to seeing you on the next video, but until then, stay blessed everyone.